Yo, what's up, swag? And you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy Keon Lar, aka KL Swag, back here with a video, man. Oh my gosh, bro. Look, man. One of my subscribers suggests for me to react to this video. So look, man, I gotta drop it for y'all. Look, man, 10 people who woke up during surgery, bro. Make sure you kind of like subscribe, bro. This is gonna be a little crazy. I never knew that, bro. People woke up during surgery, bro. I never knew that, bro. I hope these people sue the hell out of these doctors, bro, because I know I would. I see guts coming out my stomach, and they pulling the guts and intestines and whatever that's coming out of my damn stomach, man. And I wake up, and fall out. Look, man, make sure you comment and subscribe, bro, and let's just get into the reaction, bro.
It's Chris. From torture during throat surgery to the woman who got PTSD after waking up halfway through her operation.
Damn!
10 horrifying stories of people who woke up during surgery. Number 10. Donna Penner. In 2008, Donna Penner went to the hospital to get abdominal surgery. This happened in Canada when Donna was just 44 years old and experiencing unusually heavy bleeding during her periods. The surgery she was to get was a laparoscopy, in which a surgeon makes 3 or 4 small incisions into the abdomen so they can push instruments inside the human body and take a look around. It's a pretty standard procedure. But still, Donna was feeling a little anxious, and it turned out she was anxious for a really good reason. Even though the operation started off perfectly fine, things took a wrong turn very quickly. First, the anesthesiologist gave Donna an intravenous drip. Then he placed a mask over her face and told her to take a deep breath after she drifted off into a peaceful sleep. But Donna woke up sooner than expected. According to her testimony, she woke up and was still able to hear sounds inside of the operating room. It was only the beginning of her surgery and she'd already woken up. The first words she heard after waking up were, "Scalpel, please." The surgeons were getting ready to cut her open, and yet she could do nothing about it because even though she was awake, she was paralytic. The anesthetic didn't work, but the paralytic had. Meaning even though Donna couldn't move, she could feel everything. She didn't even have words to describe the pain when the doctor sliced her open with the scalpel. Plus, she couldn't open her eyes. She had to sit there the whole time in darkness while the doctors cut her open and pushed medical instruments into her body.
Damn!
She could even feel the doctor moving her organs around, and this went on for about an hour and a half. After Donna's frightening ordeal, she had to see a therapist because she was so horribly traumatized.
Oh my
Number
God!
9. Fern Settle.
Bro, I would have sued the hell out of them, bro.
Fern Settle went into surgery to treat a ruptured appendix. Unfortunately, the general anesthetic didn't quite work the way it was expected to. According to the New York Post, Fern woke up with a stabbing pain in his abdomen and a feeling as though he was choking to death. Of course, the choking ended up being the tube that was inserted into his throat, and the stabbing was the doctor cutting his guts open. Fern tried everything to get the attention of the doctors, but unfortunately, just like Donna in the previous story, he too was paralyzed and unable to do anything except urinate himself. He described the experience as being locked in his own body and as his own worst nightmare come true. And here's where things get even more horrifying. After Fern woke up and the operation was over, and he explained his traumatic experience to the staff, the account manager simply told him it was all a dream. But it absolutely wasn't. In the end, it was discovered that a nurse had written down a 40-pound weight differential because of a language barrier just before the surgery started.
Bro, that's messed up, bro. The damn doctor told him it's all a damn dream. I'm not getting no surgeries, bro. Even if I have to get it, I'm not getting it. I'd rather just die.
That Fern did not get the necessary amount of anesthetic. Talk about a whoops. Fern's experience was so terrifying that even a year after the surgery, he continued to have trouble sleeping. Fern experienced flashbacks, PTSD, and recurring nightmares. And through it all, it's been reported that the hospital only apologized and gave Fern a small settlement of a few $1,000s outside of court. Number 8, Sarah Thomas. Sarah Thomas experienced excruciating agony when she became conscious during an operation to take out her tonsils. She had absolutely no way to alert the surgeons of what was going on, and she was locked in horrifying pain like you couldn't even imagine. According to Sarah's own words, she was in severe agony and screaming inside of her own head. It took 15 minutes for the nurses to realize that the anesthetic had worn off, by which time Sarah had already experienced more pain than any human ever should with such a simple procedure. Since the incident, Sarah has experienced debilitating flashbacks and crippling panic attacks. And here's the extra scary part. The entire experience was all because of a faulty machine that did not alert medical staff that the anesthetic was wearing off. The machine should have been checked properly, but because of some sort of negligence, it was broken and faulty even before the surgery began. After the ordeal, Sarah was given around $25,000 in compensation, and even though she said she was grateful for the money, there was no way to compensate her for what she had gone through.
Bro, that's like $100,000, man. Oh my gosh.
Sarah even had to quit her job as a hairdresser because of her uncontrollable panic attacks. According to Dr. Richard Marks from the Royal College of Anesthetists, what happened to Sarah happens in about 1 in every 19,000 cases for a variety of reasons.
Damn.
Hey, real quick, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Give this video a like and then hit that subscribe button for more videos like this.
It's a real strong bond that we've built up in the water.
It's crazy.
This one. Number 7, Miles Brazil. A man named Miles Brazil from Reno recently suffered an extremely traumatic experience and something that can only be described as torture.
Yes, sir.
Waking up in the middle of a throat surgery. This happened at St. Mary's Regional Medical Center back in 2018. After Miles arrived at the hospital due to choking on an air pump cap while he'd been inflating his bicycle tire outside of a coffee shop. Miles was rushed to the emergency room, and doctors worked to extract the cap, and Miles was prepared for surgery. Miles told local news that he had informed the doctors before the surgery that he had had a previous incident in which he was not able to be kept properly sedated by common anesthetic. Unfortunately for everyone involved in the case, the doctors ignored Miles' advice, and guess what? Just like he said, the anesthetic was not able to keep him properly sedated. He woke up and felt an extraordinary amount of pain during the brief procedure. Mixed with the terror and fear that Miles experienced, the only proper way to describe his surgery is as an exercise in torture. Miles claimed that the surgery felt like he was buried alive and someone was ramming his body full of rags soaked in gasoline. And yeah, that sounds absolutely terrible. In the end, the operation didn't even work. It was totally botched. The cap couldn't be extracted from Miles' throat, and he coughed it up on his own a few days later. Since the incident, Miles has filed a suit against the doctors involved.
Yeah, you better,
Number 6, the naughty anesthesiologist. This next story is a little different. It's actually about a naughty anesthesiologist who apparently stole drugs that were supposed to be used for patients and then ended up overdosing on them in a hospital bathroom. In a shocking lawsuit, an unnamed patient is alleging that Dr. Bradley Hay used the sedatives that were meant for his surgery on himself, causing the patient to wake up in the middle of the operation. This is obviously insane. In a deposition, Dr. Hay actually admitted that he abused drugs while on the job. And this was at the UC San Diego, a hospital that's supposed to be professional and highly...
Bro, just watching this shit, bro, I do not trust doctors, bro. Nurses, bro, I don't, bro. I don't. I never did, bro. I never believed in hospitals or none of that, man. Bro, I think I had like a cut, like a big ass cut on my hand, bro. And people told me, you need stitches. I said, no, forget that. I'll let it heal up itself. And it healed up. It closed up real quick.
Advanced in medical treatments. However, it looks like some of the doctors have taken it upon themselves to abuse the very drugs meant to help their patients. And at least one unfortunate person has suffered the consequences. There isn't any information on the doctor's overdose, other than that he survived. And as for the patient who filed the lawsuit, well, hopefully they do get something out of their surely horrifying ordeal.
I hope so.
Number 5, Chloe Can. Chloe Can is a model who had gotten quite a few body modifications done throughout her life. But one of her worst experiences was a botched nose job, in which she woke up halfway through the operation.
Oh, why the fuck you getting your damn nose done for? You trying to be like Michael Jackson? You trying to be like Michael Jackson, huh? Damn.
This apparently happened in the Ukraine, with with the procedure going so horribly wrong that Chloe ended up losing her sense of smell.
I see a
She
booger in
couldn't
there.
breathe out of her nose for 8 months and still had to live with the horrifying memory of waking up in the middle of a surgery. While she didn't give a lot of information about what exactly happened when she woke up during the op, and she did say that the entire procedure was a disaster right from the beginning. Months after the operation, Chloe was still waking up with nosebleeds. She even had to tape her nose shut for 20 hours out of the day just to keep her nose from swelling.
Damn.
And here's where things get weird. Chloe said that when she arrived at the venue for the operation, she quickly realized something was wrong. Instead of being at a hospital, she was just at somebody's house. Jeez, what a red flag. If you're trying to get a nose job, you probably don't want to do it in some strange Ukrainian basement.
What the hell?
11 Irish patients. A recent study has found
What? Bro, she was in the basement getting her nose done? Ukrainian? Oh my gosh, bro. People, bro. That's the dumbest one I ever heard.
that in just 1 year of surgeries throughout Ireland, at least 11 patients were awake throughout the operation.
Damn!
Apparently, this is a thing that happens far more often than it's reported. This study was carried out by the Royal College of Anesthetists, and they found at least 300 cases of accidental awareness that occurred when general anesthesia didn't work. As we've already learned today, accidental awareness can lead to crippling stress, long-term psychological damage, and an inability to function in daily life. But what's really alarming about this study is how underreported it is. If there were really 300 cases in just 1 year, that really feels like 300 cases too many. Number 3, Simon Rosenquist. A young man from Sweden named Simon Rosenquist recently had the most traumatic experience of his life when he woke up in the middle of his surgery.
Okay.
This procedure had been to correct a collapsed lung. According to the report from NBC News, the operation carried out in March, and Simon immediately filed a complaint with Sweden's National Board of Health and Welfare. During the operation, he woke up and couldn't move a muscle. He couldn't speak, he couldn't twitch, and even though his brain kept telling him to do something to alert the doctors, he wasn't able to. He was awake for about 35 out of the 50 minutes that the procedure took to complete. And yes, he was in unbearable pain the entire time. And by the time the doctors were all done, he was, of course, extremely angry. But here are the truly disturbing facts of the matter. A professor of anesthesiology at the Preliman School of Medicine, doctors sometimes turn down the anesthetic drugs during the surgery when blood pressure drops dramatically, and this is actually a common occurrence. This can often be blamed for a patient waking up during an operation. However, patients who wake up usually exhibit an increase in heart rate and blood pressure, and an anesthesiologist will notice the change and increase the level of anesthesia to knock the patient back out. In the case of Simon, nobody noticed that he had woken up and he was forced to suffer for the majority of the operation in excruciating agony. Number 2, the awake craniotomy. Surgeons at the Simlow Cancer Hospital in New Haven have recently perfected a bizarre procedure known as the awake craniotomy. This procedure is incredibly strange because it actually involves a person being completely awake while the doctor is performing brain surgery. And if that makes your scalp tingle a little like it does mine, you're not the only one. Reporters from Fox 61 News recently watched the procedure happen firsthand. They witnessed doctors removing a tumor out of a brain of a 31-year-old guy named Andy. Andy is a professional singer who used to sing at Carnegie Hall, but whose life had come to a dramatic halt when he realized he had brain cancer and needed to have a tumor removed from the part of his brain that controls singing. In the first part of the surgery, Andy was placed under anesthesia while the surgeons drilled into his skull. Then they began to remove bits and pieces of the tumor which was sitting inside of his left temporal lobe, the part of the brain that controls language functionality. But only about 20 minutes into the procedure, Andy woke up. Neurosurgeon Dr. Jennifer Moliterno then removed the remainder of the tumor with Andy awake, asking him questions and getting him to repeat phrases like "the seashore smells like salt" over and over to make sure that as much language was preserved as possible during the operation. So while the doctors took out pieces of Andy's brain, he sat there talking and singing the entire time. Number 1, Carol Wearer. Carol Wearer had a degenerative eye condition that caused her to be in significant pain every single day of her life. It eventually became such a burden that the only way to get rid of the pain was to remove Carol's right eye. She went to the hospital to have an operation, which was supposed to last 5.5 hours. But for 2 hours out of the operation, Carol was wide awake. The local anesthetic
Bro. She was wide awake while they was taking out her eye. She was, bro. Bro. No cap, you guys. I'm not a bitch or nothing like that. I literally start to cry and panic when I was I was a kid. When I was like 15 years old, bro, 16, 17 years old, bro, like, and I used to go, like, go to the beach or whatever. I get sand in my eye. I don't know how, but it used to get in my eye, bro. And I used to panic, bro. Bro, oh my gosh, bro. And like, I used to be rubbing my eye, please get it out, blow in my eye. Bro, I used to tell, my friends to blow in my eye, blow in my eyes, it's not out. And bro, I used to bitch, bro. And bro, like, she's wide awake while her eyes getting taken out. Bro.
Kept Carol from experiencing the nasty pain of her eye being cut out of her head. However, she was still awake and could feel the pressure of the pulling and tugging of the surgical team as they basically ripped her eye out of her socket. And like the other people on the list today, Carol was paralytic and unable to communicate with the doctors that she was awake. In Carol's own words, she couldn't do anything and thought she was going to die. At the time, she wished she could die. Eventually, someone noticed she was awake and introduced additional anesthetic agents to her IV, a feeling which Carol described as being roasted alive from the inside. Even more horrifying is that when Carol woke up screaming that she had been awake during the procedure, none of the doctors believed her. It wasn't until she repeated the actual conversation they'd been going on between the surgeons that they took her seriously. And apparently, this is a pretty common occurrence. One study has shown that almost 30% of patients put under anesthetics will feel some sort of pain, with at least half of those who wake up during surgery developing major psychological disorders.
Come on, man.
No one believes the traumatized patient. Thanks for watching. Have you ever been in a similar situation during an operation? If so, let me know in the comments.
Man, that was crazy as hell, bro. Anyways, man, make sure you comment, subscribe. I love you guys. Stay swagged up, and I will see you guys in the next video.